You could not write a script like this.
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to You Couldn't Write It, the movie show exclusively dedicated to football/soccer movies. More common than not, soccer movies.
Again, another film here. I like all soccer, very
Soccer.
and an American vibe to some of the soccer as well.
Yeah, well, what I should mention, what we're talking about today is Shaolin Soccer, Hong Kong's offering to the world of football/soccer movies.
Long ago, in this sacred temple, 6 best friends learned the secrets and mastered the power of an art called Shaolin Kung Fu. Now, they've lost their way, but one man is getting them back together
Kung Fu is perfect for sport.
to remind them of the courage they still have and apply it to a game they've never played.
Kung Fu Soccer.
Pow! It will take time.
Hey, it's there! It's coming down!
It will take practice.
When you can kick an egg without breaking it, then you can join us. Oh.
And it will take the talents of a young girl.
You're beautiful. And a Kung Fu master, you got it all.
Everybody was born.
Because they're not just going against the odds.
Barricade shield!
They're going against the most ruthless team ever assembled.
Huh? Oh.
Now, the only way to win
Their power's coming back. I can feel it.
is to believe in Shaolin.
Y'all ready? No way. Let's go! Boys and girls, you know what to do. Throw those hands up for the Kung Fu.
Get ready to be swept off your feet and taken to the extreme. Stephen Chow, Shaolin Soccer.
If we've played the trailer already, have we? I mean, we should probably listen to the trailer this time, because last time I said, well, not last time, but the time I said play the trailer of Airboat 3, and I was like, yeah, we'll just put that in post and that'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then there was a completely misleading
The trailer lied. Yeah, because we said on the pod, because we just assumed it'd be like
I
all
assumed that was going to tell everything.
all
Yeah.
shitty movie trailers. It'd be like, here's the entire film, here's each act of it in trailer form. No, Airbud was worse. I know this is like our 5th week in a row talk about Airbud, but
Can't
they
go over it.
literally lied to you in the movie or in the trailer. That is
Yeah.
not what the film is at all. It's all Women's World Cup in the trailer.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that this one is going to be fairly... Well, actually, do you know what? Because it was hard to find this movie to watch in the first place.
Yeah. We might be able
so-
to find the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know if we can find the trailer. So hopefully the trailer has played there at some point, and I hope it wasn't too misleading, and hopefully it was in English. Because as I said, this is a movie. I think it was set, not set. Maybe it was set, but I think it was filmed in Hong Kong.
Okay.
I think it's. I looked it up. Cantonese / Mandarin they're speaking in it. I don't know how they would do that. I don't know how they would switch up languages. And maybe other people are shouting in different languages. I'm not sure, like background characters. But it's something. It's Mandarin or Cantonese, but it's Chinese. That's for sure. But also it's Hong Kong, so it might be a separate thing. A lot going on in this movie already. You know,
A lot going on. You would not believe how much is going on in this movie if you've never seen it. I don't know about you. When I first looked it up and I saw runtime just under 2 hours, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare. And then I have a note here. We'll get into it, but literally one of the first notes I took was that 40 minutes has flown by. Like
nice.
it's just bang, 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 bang. You're straight in. The film is just going immediately.
That wasn't a nice thought to have, that this movie is moving quickly. I mean, look, before we even get into it, we have to reference the poll. We said we'd go to the people and listen, I've been humbled. I've been humbled at how small we are and how easily it is to manipulate this great show. Yeah. Really, it only took 3 votes and it swayed Shaolin Soccer.
It stole the election, Gal.
It stole, yeah, like fucking Joe Kennedy stealing an election for JFK back in the day. Got the mob, his mob ties to whatever state that he bought. And then, you know, it all, well, guess what happened to JFK, folks? You know, he went back on his word. And, well, Bobby did really. But nevertheless, someone's head got blown off. Just like this movie, actually. A very violent film. I'm not sure what the rating was, but it was more violent than I thought it would be.
It was very violent. There was like a lot of blood and stuff, but it was never gory. It's honestly, it's like watching a 2-hour cartoon. It's like a Looney Tunes cartoon at points, some of the things that are happening.
Yeah, it's anime, really. It's anime live action.
And by the way, done unbelievably. It holds up.
Yes, this is a very interesting part of it because there's a lot of special effects in it. And whenever, like, you go back and you watch some movies, like if you watch, you know, The Matrix, where he does the rubber man where he's on the pole and he's running around. When I watched that for the first time, I was like, oh, this is great. And now when you look back, you can't help but know it's like, oh, that's a rubber man. That's not a real man at all. It's not even close to a real man doing all those tricks. But there's something about, I don't know, The Matrix was 99, but just after that, like 2002, 2003, where we are here now in this film, 2001, I think it was, around that time, they really got good special effects.
Yeah.
Like
really
the special effects really peaked. I mean, I know the one that people point to is the Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, Davy Jones, where he has the tentacles playing the piano. But like, it's never been this good. And a lot of people have kind of pointed to, like, people wanted to invest the money in it, and then it became very expensive. And then there was like cheaper options. And people said, oh, we can just do that because, you know, we'll do that. And we never kind of got back to that. Studios paying the big money for like unbelievable special effects. We can still do them, but they're just not being invited anymore. But yeah, this was, I guess, that sweet spot where it wasn't too expensive, yes, but it was still pretty good. Even for today, like, yeah, it's obviously not real, but like, you know, you think of a movie from more than 25 years ago that they would hold up at all is very impressive. And
there's parts of it that whole, like, some of it obviously looks silly, but because they kind of lean into how ridiculous it is, it's not totally silly because it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be wacky and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's parts where they're like, just in the middle of a game, there's like a shot and there's people literally flying through the sky. And I was like, okay, I actually don't know how they've done that.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, we'll get straight into it. I think, how is the football? I think the best so far.
The best by a mile. And I will say, the best transition of bad to good in a movie. These lads proper look terrible at the start. But once they get going.
And they showed it. They showed it all, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I will say there was a very reminiscent scene from, again, trigger alert, Air Bud. You know, the guys doing the step overs?
Air Bud, yeah. There was a few bits in it where I thought, this is like Air Bud, actually.
The step over bit was taken straight from this movie in Air Bud.
Yeah.
They took it straight from Shaolin Soccer and said, we'll have a guy doing step overs to show how bad he is. And, you know, this movie did it first.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I said, so once they get there, so the premise of the film is there's an evil team who are literally called Team Evil, which that's like the first line in the movie. And I thought, okay, this is looking good. So evil team win every year. And the down on his luck coach needs to find a new team to play them. And he finds essentially a team of losers, but who all are masters of a specific type of kung fu. So one guy's really good with his hands. Another guy is really good with his foot. Another guy's good with his head. Perfect for a football movie. So that's the plot. But yeah, once they get going and they have the powers, the last match against Team Evil, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, that was great. I like there was it's kind of a spoof film as well. Like there's bits in it where it's like clearly they're making fun of themselves. Like they're doing this. I guess this is like, I think it's the year before Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Really? Wow.
I think that was 2002. So obviously around the same time. But I'd say if the guys who's it, Jet Li in Crouching Tiger, and if he was watching this, like, oh no, they're our movie's going to look ridiculous now.
Is this must be around the time as well of, remember Kung Pao? I think that's what it's called, where it's like a dubbed old kung fu movie, but with added wacky special effects over it to make it like a silly comedy.
Yeah, this was different around that time where this was huge. This kind of the flying to the air kung fu. I'm not sure where that originated.
It's that like your legs running while you're sailing through the air. You saw that everywhere at the time.
Yeah, but there's a bit where they're playing a women's team for whatever reason.
All have mustaches.
We'll have mustaches and dreadlocks, and then they go flying through the air, and then they're like, how do they do that? I was like, it must be special effects. And I was like. Just completely takes the piss out of themselves in the movie, and it doesn't explain that they have special powers or that they have any, or that they're on American drugs. They just do it, and they have mustaches, and it's like, this is a wacky film. Just that's all you need to know. This is a crazy film.
There's I'm genuine. I think the thing that surprised me the most was how actually funny a lot of the dialogue is. Because again, they lean into it. One of the early lines in the film that I literally was dying laughing at is where he says, hey, can I have one more steamed bun? And the woman says, no. And he replies, you delivered that line with kung fu grace.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very funny. So, like, because it's in again Chinese dialect, Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't know the difference, but it's subtitles, so you're reading these lines. Which I've watched a good few different shows against my will. Growing up, parents always watch these shows on like BBC Four or some shit, like some Norwegian detective show. And like, honestly, the lines are very funny when you read them sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like when you read out the premise of a movie is a lot funnier than actually watching the movie sometimes. Like, say, I don't know, Airbud.
Airbud, yeah.
But like some of those lines when you read them out, like the one where she showed up to the match and she shaved her head.
Yeah.
All what I think for the purpose of, because she goes, oh, why'd you shave your head? He goes, to get the hair. You said to get the hair out of my eyes. It's like, right, she's an idiot. And it's like, listen, E.T., you got to go home. You got to phone home, E.T. But like all these things are funnier, like reading them, because you could deliver them badly, like I just did there. But if you're reading it, it's a very funny movie.
And I mean, the film, one of my favorite things about it, like I said, it's 2 hours long. So at the start, it was like, oh, I don't know about this. But it's just go, go, go. There's constantly something happening. And my favorite thing about it, they don't bother over-explaining anything. It's like, we need a football team. We're straight into finding the players. Okay, I wish they had their powers back. They have their powers back. Okay, we win this one game, we're in the final. We're in the final. We're on a bus to the final. No explanation needed. You don't need to know everyone's backstory. All of the boys in the team, I was expected to hear all their sad moments and they'd come good at the end. Not really. A lot of them, nearly the entire team are just comic relief and then they win. It's amazing.
And as well, like a lot of times the people in these shows, like the background characters or movies, like they're like decent looking people because they're trying to be actors. These are like the most normal looking Chinese men you've ever seen.
Strangest looking guys they can find, I swear. And they ugly them up as well. Like they give them bad haircuts on purpose. They like give them just weird beards. They're filthy. They're covered in food at times. Like when they meet the big guy whose name is, I can't remember.
Youngest brother,
yeah. And his thing is that he can sail through the air. Lightfoot. But he's gotten very big and fat. When we first meet him, it is actually disgusting. He has food.
Oh, I couldn't look at the screen. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Over his face.
And a lot of times they do that for like one scene to like show how disgusting it is, and then it'll like inexplicably cut and it'll be all gone. They left like the food on for like the 3 different cuts to him. I was like, get the guy out of my fucking screen.
I will say as well, I love this film. There was one scene I absolutely hated where he's so obsessed with food that he eats an egg.
Don't.
Eats an egg out of another guy's mouth.
I nearly got sick watching
that. And then they did it again. They do the same joke twice.
That was that. I did laugh at that because like, this is absolutely disgusting and it's so graphic. And then they just replayed the exact scene,
I thought what I had watched it on had like skipped or something. It's very funny, but it's disgusting. He's sucking an egg out of a guy's mouth.
Yeah, no, I have to say I didn't enjoy that bit at all. But I did find it funny that they would, because I knew how disgusting it was. Like just played it scene for scene again, just the exact same, just repeat it there. Yeah, like I say, very very funny film. Take the piss out of themselves. I love when they enter the FA Cup essentially, and the prize is £1 million, not yen, $1 million.
I have no idea.
Oh, what's the Chinese currency? That's insane. I don't know that.
Let me
Oh,
talk amongst yourselves. See if you can
Dong
guess,
is Vietnam.
folks.
Korean is something I watched in Squid Game.
Yuan. Yuan.
That doesn't ring a bell. I never knew that means. I never knew that.
It's not doing well, I'll tell you. 1 Chinese yuan is equals to 12 cent.
That's the tariffs, isn't it?
That's the tariffs.
Must be the tariffs, boys. So they enter essentially the FA Cup to win 1 million yuan. And the coach's like, oh, this is going to be huge. Like, there's going to be fans out here. Make sure to thank all the fans. Be humble, be gracious and all that stuff. And they come out and they start immediately, shouting and roaring, thank you for the fans. Thank you to the fans. And one of his teammates says to the main guy, Iron Leg, they're just janitors. And he slaps across the face. They're our fans, God damn it. And they start going, let's win, let's win, let's win, chanting like in a kind of an Asian fashion. And then the janitors are like, be quiet down there. And then they start quietly, let's win, let's win. And then like before they even get it started, a brush comes flying and smacks them back the head. Just, again, terrible for a podcast, an explainy podcast, but it's a great visual gag in this movie.
There's loads. I mean, another great visual gag I thought when we first meet Ironhead, the guy, as it sounds, he has like an indestructible head.
Yeah.
And his boss in the bar he works in just keeps breaking glass bottles over his head. And then they're doing some weird song, and Ironhead looks to the left, and the boss untucks his shirt and reveals he has a glass bottle. Don't make me hit you with it.
Yeah, like it was a gun. Just pulls back the jacket. There's 2 glass bottles. Yeah, the main guy is like a kung fu salesman. That's kind of the main plot of the film as well. He's trying to spread awareness of kung fu the whole movie. And this scene that you're talking about, he's like, we can spread the word of kung fu through song.
Incredible side plot that lasts, I'd say, 5 minutes, where he starts singing, and then another guy on the street. I wrote the quote down because it's amazing. The camera flies over straight into this guy's face, and he goes, "My name is Dynamite. I wish to be a musician." And then we launch into a song and dance, a choreographed dance with everyone. And then we're into this where he's singing it in the bar, and they're singing I am Ironhead, he is Steel Leg to the tune of California Dreamin'. And then you never mention it again.
少林功夫醒，
好好嘢，
少林功夫勁，
係好勁，
我係鐵頭功，
無敵鐵頭功，
你係咁鋼腿，
我係咁浪吹。
認真啲啊！
少林功夫好嘢，
真好嘢！
少林功夫好嘢，
很好嘢，
少林功夫好緊，
冇得頂啊！
我係咁講佢，
咁講腿，
佢係鐵頭功。
我頂你個肺！
And what the best thing about that scene is that they just left in all the bloopers so they couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
They were just pissed themselves laughing throughout the whole song, as if they were like stalling for the other actors to get there so they could start the movie.
Yeah, it was like watching like an improv film entirely.
It was a very enjoyable watch. This is kind of what I hoped for, but this again, it was intentional. It wasn't like so bad that it was good. They knew exactly what they're doing the entire movie. So, I mean, did you have any information? Cheers, Jeff. Was that our statement we were going to do?
I forgot about Cheers, Jeff.
I had one thing where this movie was made in 2001 for the Chinese market. It was bought by Miramax, Harvey Weinstein's Miramax. So he bought it, took 30 minutes out of the movie, said get rid of the English dub, put in subtitles, and we'll release this in a little bit. Not quite now. This is in 2004 because he didn't want to release this the same week as Kill Bill Volume 2. He wanted to give it a bit of a wide berth there.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so it didn't come out in American screens till 2004, which I guess probably that means our screens 2005, 2006. I don't know if it even had a theatrical release here, Will, which was one of our rules that we've broken immediately.
I was thinking this as well when I was watching it. It's like I always knew of this film. Have you ever seen this?
No, I've never watched it. I never sat down and watched it. I didn't
neither.
watch it in cinemas. Again, I don't know if it was in cinemas, but I never saw it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, because I was like, when I started it, I couldn't remember if I'd seen it before. Like maybe I'd rented it or something. But no, I literally had no idea of it. I think it was one that would be on telly now and again, or like I said, like it'd be in an extras or something. But you've only got so many choices of film in an extra vision. And this one, you're going to look at the cover and go, that might be subtitled. And it is. That would put you off.
Yeah, but it is definitely a video thing. You think back to 2002, mid 2000s Irish homes, an uncle who's coming to visit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I better get the lad something, and then you go into the Extravision or something or whatever, Golden Discs perhaps. You can buy a video tape as a little present and you go, oh, this looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, 2004, 2005, it's all Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all that stuff is The Matrix, Kill Bill, all that kind of stuff is popping. You go, this would be great for the kids, and you hand it over and the mother gives you kind of a look like, what is this, Will? What did you bring us, Uncle Will? It's like, I don't know, I just picked up in the shop the way here. But the kids will love it.
Soccer in the title.
Yeah, your kid loves Man United, doesn't he? It's Liverpool.
When I was watching, I was actually raging because I think if I had seen this when I was younger, I would have fucking loved it. Like,
oh yeah, it would have been great because it was very Pokemon as well. Like the first scene where he kicks that can away and it twinkles in the sky. It's straight out of Pokemon, straight anime. Yeah,
there's loads, and like again, even that thing of where each of the players has a different power, and it comes like the perfect moment comes from all. That's just great. That's great stuff. I do have one little tidbit here, a trivia bit I've just seen. Did you know that the director of the film was banned from shooting in mainland China for 1 year after its release?
Because of like the tropes and stuff?
Because the director disagreed with the Chinese Communist Party's National Radio and Television Administration. They were concerned that the film's title would insult Buddhists. So I'm guessing Shaolin is like a Buddhist term. He refused to change the title to Kung Fu Soccer. And as a result, he was banned for a year. But he stayed by it. He said, no fucking way am I changing it.
I mean, it's a much better title. The alliteration alone, Shaolin Soccer. It's all about the whole movie about the Shaolin style. He tells that guy who has the praying mantis style to get a life and study Shaolin instead before he robs him for 30 cents. The whole movie hinged on the title.
Yeah, and if this was called Kung Fu Soccer, I don't think it would be remembered as fondly. I don't think it would have done well because I would have thought that's a shitty American film about Kung Fu.
It sounds kind of dubbed. It sounds like an anglicized version of whatever the original title was. But Shaolin Soccer, again, maybe it's just alliteration. Maybe our simple brains just like that more.
Yeah.
Well, here's a bit of more trivia about Stephen Chow, the director and star of this movie. He dubbed his own voice for the American release. That must be weird.
That's weird. I was thinking watching, I was like, should we have watched the dub version? But like, I feel like the dubbed version would be missing some of the wackiness because it would feel, for some reason, when it was subtitled, there's like an element to it where it is like you're watching a serious film that is wacky. Whereas I think if it's like dubbed Americans doing all the voices, you'd be like, this is insane. This is like a parody.
Yeah, no, I think because it's like audiobooks sometimes. They kind of overdo it a bit. They overact. And you kind of I have imagination, right? Just read the book. And I'll take from there. You don't need to like shout. Okay, you just read the book for me. Okay, I'm driving. I can't read it. I would. I know to read. Just read it to me, and I'll fill in the emotional trauma this means. Okay, so yeah, the dubbed. I think they overdo it because they're not in the movie. They watch the movies and they're trying like, whoa,
Yeah, but like, guess what? If I'm reading a book, I'm not doing silly voices in my head. They all sound the same in there.
It's like when we're reading the dubbed jokes. They're funnier because you're reading in your deadpan voice. It's a funnier way sometimes. I'm not doing I'm not doing Hermione's voice when I'm reading Harry Potter.
100%. Yeah, but like I do think that is probably this film's shining thing is just every minute or two, there's another great gag, like another great line, and they're just bang, 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 bang. I don't know if it was Chow who wrote it as well, but just look it
I
up.
would guess
It was.
probably.
He's written, directed.
Well, of course it was. He wrote, directed, starred in Shaolin Soccer, and refused the Chinese Communist Party. Of course, he wrote it.
This guy ruled.
I'll tell you who wrote it. I'll tell you his name. Stephen Chow, the guy who wrote Shaolin Soccer. That's who wrote it.
Oh, Stephen Chow, after Shaolin Soccer, went on to write and direct Kung Fu Hustle. Did you ever see that?
No, but it has very good reviews.
I think Kung Fu Hustle is very much slightly more serious Shaolin Soccer and not about soccer. That's essentially it. So he got it with this, and then he mastered it with that.
Yeah, he stars as a wannabe gangster, and then he runs into three, you guessed it, martial artists who bring him a cropper. Here's another little trivia, Will. Danny Kwok Guan Chan, who played the Bruce Lee-like goalkeeper, would eventually end up playing Bruce Lee in multiple projects. So this is like an audition for him. He did such a good Bruce Lee impression.
He has all the mannerisms down to a T.
Yeah. The first was a TV series, The Legend of Bruce Lee. Then again in IP Man 3, 2015, and then IP Man 4, the finale, 2019. So check those out, folks, and let us know if he still got it in 2019.
I bet he does.
What do you make of? Cause I saw this, I thought I better not forget this. What the refs trim?
What was I'm gonna have to look up? Oh yeah, I do remember the refs trim.
Yeah, I was like, whoa,
Man.
2001. That's insane.
Yeah.
He was a trendsetter, surely.
There's actually, do you know what? Speaking of trendsetting, I think this film holds up really well because there's like an element to it. It's like watching TikTok. It's very brain rotty of just like wacky stuff constantly flying at you. No, you don't need to remember anything from 2 minutes ago. We're on to this thing that's happening now. It holds up really well. It holds up way better than any of the last 3 films we've watched because of that, I think.
Yeah, it does. It's very quick, and it does like it sounds kind of like an obnoxious thing to say, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not. It is. It knows exactly what it is. Like this is going to be a wacky kind of movie where we just throw the laws of physics out the window, and we just kind of run around and kick the ball. And like, I mean, even the first one, they didn't win 10-0, they won 40-0, which I was like, it's a great little bit to put in there. Make sure it's like 40 rather than 20. Like, yeah, 40-0 is even better. Like, they score 40 goals in the 30-minute game, which they put on. It's great, you know.
Yeah, and like there's another great bit as well where they're playing against their first game. I think it's that one they win 40-0, but where they're playing against the particularly violent gang who just absolutely beat the brakes off them very violently. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't even cut to it. It just blends seamlessly into the main characters crawling on the ground. And it's like fucking D-Day. Like he has a machine gun and a helmet, he's throwing grenades. And then it goes right back to real life. It's so good. It's something as well. I think Kicking and Screaming, we were talking about like that coffee bit was weird. I think Kicking and Screaming wanted to be wacky, but I'm sure all the movie studios were like, no, this isn't going to play here. But that coffee bit feels now, looking back, like they wanted the whole film to be weird like that.
Yeah, well, you needed Will Ferrell to write, direct, and star in it to get that, I think.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
When you have, well, I don't want to, I know he has issues with the Communist Party, but I'm just saying, if you got one guy in charge, you make some great stuff sometimes. This is another example of that. What did you make of, at the end? No, sorry, not the end. Mui. I'm saying Mui as if it was his Irish name. It was May or whatever, M-U-I.
The female character, yeah.
What was that about? I mean, what?
Really weird. Really weird character.
They gave her like 3 different character arcs in the middle of it. And
like, there's things revealed right. One of the best reveals I think I've ever seen, because it's just a weird character for a while. And then, like you said, when she shows up and she's bald and she comes there to save the day, then she runs to the wrong goal. You go, oh, she's an idiot.
Yeah, she's a moron.
So strange. They don't really mention that for the rest of the film, but it's a great layer to the character when it's unveiled.
like when they see her first, it's just all the acting on her face. I'm like, okay, well, that's obviously going to come off. You know, that's going to be the romantic plot of this movie.
Yeah.
And then she gets a makeover. She goes to the makeover guy who like picks his nose.
Who's incredibly ugly.
Who is a man. It's like it's just a man who's dressed up as a woman. He's picked his nose. He wipes his snot on her blouse, and then all right, let's go in. It's like, again, that was just something that Stephen Chow thought, this is funny. Put that in the movie. It's my movie, damn it. That's why. That's She gets the makeover. She comes out like dressed. Apparently, I'll read on the trivia. It was to make fun of how women used to dress in the 80s. The actresses in the 80s used to like that. Really, it's good. They keep saying how white she is.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I guess, a way of like bleaching her skin back then. It was like, so it's like, look, the ridiculous shoulder pads and the hair. But in the middle of that scene, she just goes, "Get the fuck off me!"
Yeah,
I'm having a tantrum now. It's like, why would she have a tantrum?
And then she flips back as well. She goes, "No, you're right. I'm sorry." And he goes, "Okay, because you're being weird. Don't talk to me like that."
Yeah.
What the hell? Are you cool with this or not? Are you okay with all the boys making jokes about you? Who also, they are very funny. All the boys.
Yeah.
Being like, you look like a ghost.
But I just felt they could have left out that whole mood swing thing and just have the woman
Yeah.
come along and ruin the fun, and then it'd be like, oh, well, that's an obvious thing. Okay, now she feels bad because the woman made her feel bad, whatever. But I didn't know, like, get your hands off me, babe. I was like, where did this come from? And then, yeah, she comes to the game as a third person who's like completely, apparently she's in makeup for 8 to 10 hours every day for the ball, for that bit. For the bit where she's like, let's call her E.T. Put her makeup for 8-10 hours. Stephen, the budget. You're blowing through the budget here.
Shut up, China.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff where it doesn't make kind of physical sense, but that's why I think this movie is great, because it's just completely wacky. Even behind the scenes, it was like, why were they putting her in makeup for 8-10 hours to then be called E.T. Go Home and then in the movie?
It's honestly, it's like every scene in this film is its own separate film. It's like 30 short films all just joined
it's like
together.
All sketches, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. And we haven't even talked about the leader of Team Evil, the coach, who is just the most evil man I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's great. Again, these films are only as good as your villain, because you have to really hate him. Rob Duvall didn't do enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I really thought he was a bad dude. But then the start of the movie, it does kind of make you feel like conflicted a little bit. Because, again, spoiler, for anyone who hasn't watched it, it starts off with the coach of the good guys, Golden Leg, which I'm not sure if that's a Golden Balls reference, because this is, again, 2001, so this is before that.
Could be.
I don't know, but he's Golden Leg, he scored all these goals, he's obnoxious Chinese soccer star, and he uses Coach Evil to tie his shoes, makes him kneel down, and he puts his foot in the back of his head and ties his shoe. And then, he misses a penalty, and the evil coach, who then has become evil, but kind of fairly enough, it's like, he was radicalized by the dickhead who makes him bend down, and and I think he had Golden Leg tattooed across his navel.
He did, yeah. He said, "I'm the only Golden Leg here."
Yeah. So he's an obnoxious guy, and then he turns the guy evil, the Dr. Evil, whatever. Hung, I think his name is. Hung orders a mob hit and gets Golden Leg's leg broken.
Yeah.
In a fake fan invasion, the mob comes in and breaks his legs. But it's like, okay, so we rarely see motivation for evilness,
Again, that's just, they just cared. They you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason they didn't need to show that, but said, fuck it. It makes it better if even the head of coach of evil team or Team Evil or whatever they call it, give him a bit of a fun backstory as well.
Yeah, and it was a sick transition at the start as well. Where he goes from young.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay, hang on. This might be all right. That was the first scene. I was like, that's something. There's something here, there's effort, there's time and effort put into this.
I can tell you the exact moment where I was like, I can't wait to watch the rest of this. The second, the new Golden Leg, so the star of the film, I think it's called Steel Leg. When he helps the man move Iron Leg.
It's Iron Head and Steel Leg?
Iron Head, Steel Leg, yeah. There's a great gag where Iron Head keeps getting hit in the leg and Steel Leg keeps getting hit in the head. And after the 4th time hitting Steel Leg in the head, he goes, "That's Iron Head. You're very stubborn."
Yeah.
But I knew the second Steel Leg helps a man move a fridge, by just kicking it up onto a thing.
Oh, that was
And the
sick.
fridge goes flipping into the air. I was like, this is going to be an amazing 2 hours.
I was thinking of the guy who probably spent like 3 days doing that in 2002.
100%.
And was like very happy with his work, you know. It's like, okay, all we have left now is the football scenes. He's like, oh, fuck.
He was the guy in charge of flipping the fridge was definitely in charge of whenever anyone would get hit hard and they'd go flipping into the air.
Yeah, oh, there was a lot of special effects work in this. They were at this for months, like, and it was probably not easy back then.
Yeah, and I would say it was very reminiscent of, do you remember the old fake Ronaldinho ads? Where he'd like kick the ball and it'd bounce off the crossbar and then come back and he'd do it over and over. But it was like all green screen guy. I would say similar to this. There was probably no ball whatsoever in the filming of this movie, do you know?
Yeah, oh, well, when he was sold the egg.
Yeah.
You know, like that was like, again, it was okay, this is CGI because I can tell. You just tell you've seen enough CGI, you've seen enough movies like that's CGI. But at the same time, I was like, that's really good. Like, like for a nothing scene, they don't really need this scene in the movie. And again, that was only to set up the second egg gag where he sucks the egg out of his mouth. So I was like, again, Stephen Chow was like, no, it's important to the movie. And like everyone's like, it's not, Stephen. Like, you know it's not. You just want this egg gag again. They made like a special effects artist working that for, again, 2 days straight. Probably set the movie back 2 days just to get a man sucking the egg out of his mouth again. It was great.
It was amazing. And like, again, because it's like a kung fu film, but they know it is, they just constantly mention that. Like, again, where he says, I think it's special effects as how they're flying through the air. There's also another line as well that I think sums up the film so well. Like I said, they don't give anyone really backstories, any of just the dorks on the team. They're just a team of freaks. And then at the end, where they're all like, they're on a TV camera saying, we're going to win, we're going to do this. One of them goes, I want to say hi to my parents and Shaolin Master, but they're all dead, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Again, they could have explained that in a 10-minute sad flashback that he pays off. No, just have him say it and throw it out there.
They're dead. That's why you haven't seen his parents in this movie, because they're dead.
Yeah.
And I don't want to step on the awards, but I have some issues with the movie as well. But
okay, yeah.
Will we get into the awards?
Yeah, we can get to the awards. Yeah.
I don't have them all filled out. There was one or two that I couldn't think of.
It doesn't lend well to the awards, I think.
No, but we'll give it a go anyways. The first one is The Streets Will Never Forget. Now, this is tough because I haven't seen any of them in anything before or since. For
me, this is an award for which of the side characters on the team is your favorite.
Yeah. Well, I guess the person I went with in the end was the coach of the evil team.
Yeah.
You know, because he was great in this. I've never seen anything else. I've never seen it before. So it does fit the criteria, as does everybody else. But I guess in this case, it's just who's your favorite character in the movie. I think it was him because he was just so good and so evil. He looked kind of like a Chinese Rob Schneider. I kept looking at him. And he looked kind of like Rob Schneider a little bit. With the glass on especially, he had that kind of... and just his mannerisms were very funny. He had a great line in it where the scene where the entire team is kicking the fireball off the sub-goalkeeper. Yeah. And he turns to one of his henchmen and goes, are we playing too dirty? And the henchman's like, no, I don't think so. And he shouts down, play even dirtier.
Yeah, that's great. He also has... where he sets up just the plot of the last thing, where he goes, these American drugs work better than expected because the evil team all have essentially superpowers. And then he goes, and also all of the refs and the linesmen are also on Team Evil's side. How could we lose?
Yeah, I love how they specified it was American drugs as well.
Yeah, there's something there. They said this is what they're all on.
That was how they got the funding from the Communist Party, I'm sure. It's like, you got to put that in there. That kept the show on the road for the few weeks.
I'll do the American drug. I'm not changing the name of the film.
That paid for the egg scene. The shout to American drugs.
Yeah, he is great. For my Streets Will Never Forget, I went with, there's a character, the second he appeared, I was like, this is my favorite guy. I went with, his name is Iron Shirt. He's the guy who can't feel pain and he shoots the ball from his abdomen. He has a nice moment at the end where he kind of steps up to the plate to be in goal and get the ball hit at him. But I'm giving him this award, not for that. I'm giving him this award for when they first find him and he's an incredibly busy businessman. and he is just doing nothing except answering phone calls, hanging phone calls up. He's like, I gotta go. I got a lunch at 2 and I have no time for lunches. I don't do lunch. And he's rapid fire all these great lines, and he's an incredibly busy man. And then he tops it off with, like I said, he steps up at the end of the film to have the ball lashed at him by the team of supervillains, essentially. And he takes out his phone and he rings and he says, Chun, there's a secret I always wanted to tell you for the last 20 years. I love you. And then he hangs up. But it's revealed in the blooper reel there was more to that scene.
I know, yeah. Why did you do that?
They should have kept it. It was a great gag. He goes, Chun, I have a secret I want to tell you for 20 years. I love you. And you hear, this is Kung, not Chun. And he goes, oh, my apologies, Kung. Please tell your wife what I just told you.
Yeah, I was waiting for a gag in that scene because I was like, there's no way this isn't going to be a gag from the previous movie. And then it just ended and he got battered by football. So, all right, I guess that was a genuine telling someone they love you.
Which means they did it, and then they obviously had the gag end, and they're like, maybe this one should be played for like a serious bit. Because you need to set up the Moy or May coming in to save the day. And it doesn't make sense if this hero's just made a funny gag. Like, you need someone to really save the day.
It was an artistic choice by Stephen. I'll accept that.
Look, he's an artist. He knows what he's at.
The Sod of Turf, aka Napoli Fans 22 Award.
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's not too much, what would you say, props in the film, I'd say. Really.
Yeah. I had the trophy. I said just go for the trophy because it was definitely made of paper mache the way they all lifted up and handed to them like that is made of tinfoil. But it looked pretty cool.
It looked good. And again, it was like comically huge, which is good.
Yeah.
I have for the Napoli Award, the Sod of Turf Award, the steamed buns.
Oh, they look good actually. Yeah,
they do look
they look good.
He's hammering them the whole film. And it was a toss-up. Like nearly every film we've done so far, this film, heavy Puma sponsorship, including a scene where all the players desperately scramble to grab Puma boots off the wall. Yeah.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. That was a great, because as they're getting their way through the competition, they now get sponsored by Puma, and they go to this Puma shop and they run in like little kids, think, oh, they're all excited, and then like the Puma execs are there clapping, waiting to shake their hands, and then you just like batter them out of the way.
Start filling their pockets with shoes is very funny.
Like rob all the shoes.
See, that's how you do it. You don't like, you ever Bend It Like Beckham where they hold the shoe to the camera and they go, oh, wouldn't it be amazing? This is how you do it. They're desperate for these shoes.
I would guarantee Stephen Chow said that he would not do anything like that.
Unless he had full creative control.
No, Puma said, listen, you just got to show the shoe. Like, don't leave the gags to the other scenes, Stephen. You know, don't do it in this one. Yeah, of course, we'll advertise the shoe. And then as the Puma execs are watching this, like, fucking Stephen Chow.
The bad boy of Kung Fu.
He's talented, but he's a loose cannon. Yeah, maybe there was some decent Puma boots. That's from their Mizunas there. They also showed the Mizuna ripped, which is like, oh, this is like kind of, you know, did Puma pay for this? I'm not sure. But,
yeah, I don't know how much money they really had invested. They definitely had a bit.
The Fraud Alert, worst performance in the movie. I didn't really have one for this. I mean, they were all grand, you know. They all kind of played the role. I think it could be a little bit harsh to give me the Fraud Alert for this one.
Yeah, see, I have someone, but it's not really his fault. I just feel like I felt like he had a moment coming and it never really came, unless you include the team winning. But Ironhead just doesn't have any luck in this movie. I mean, he's a total loser for the whole film, and he doesn't do anything at the game at the end, like at all.
He does a few headed moments because every time you hear the dunk, that's Ironhead.
But he doesn't have the moment. You know the way? Like
it was 1-0, man. You know, they get all the moments. It's a team game. You got to make space for the people. You got to make, you know, decoy runs.
But I just thought he's so pathetic in the film. Like, you know, where the violent team put boxers on his head and he says he has no dignity like a dog. I do know he immediately gets up and sticks the man to the ground with like a planted head, but it just felt like he never really, like, it felt like he needed more comeuppance than that.
Yeah, that was strange where they had to come back after. I mean, I guess that's real rock bottom. You know, he put the underpants on his head. But I mean, he was, and he got demoted as a shitty job. Now he has to clean the toilets rather than pick up the bottles. Yeah. But that does bring me on nicely to You couldn't write it. The most unbelievable plot point / part in the movie. All these high disciplined Shaolin monks are now losers, except for that one guy who may be a fake businessman. We're not sure. Because like, do you remember he rings the guy in the office like, sell my shares. Yeah, all 5 of them. Don't laugh at me. Yeah. It's like, so okay, so he's not even a big shot. They're all complete like wasters and losers who like collect cans or clean toilets. One guy that just lives in his shed.
Yeah, they're bums.
Yeah.
They're absolute bums. And like it's funny because again, I like that there was no backstory, but there's so little backstory. It's just like, yeah, they were like a team or something back in the day. It's never explained what they used to do or anything.
Yeah, so assuming that they're Shaolin monks and they've learned discipline, it's like this is the worst advertisement for monks. Like in the whole movie, is this guy trying to advertise kung fu? This is the worst advertisement for kung fu. Anybody who studies kung fu for years.
Ironhead is smoking fags nonstop this whole film. He is the most ill-disciplined man you've ever seen.
Yeah, it doesn't add up, Will. That's again everything that's aside. If you allow yourself to believe we're in a world where Shaolin monks with gravity-defying powers exist, then why would they all be losers?
Yeah,
couldn't they just apply the discipline and what they've learned to any other walk of life and be somewhat more successful than the guy who was like, I give up my youth to be a Shaolin monk and now I clean people's dishes? How's that fair? How am I so handsome and going bald? It's like, what is this? What?
How are you so much uglier than me, but have all your hair?
Like, it just was like it was a plot to set up the whole movie. This is why they would have the time to do this, but like it just didn't make any sense. Like, why would they all have nothing going on besides?
Well, actually, I think now that I think of it, my you couldn't write it moment. It came at the end, like the final battle between literally Team Evil and Team Good, and you know the deck is stacked against them. If one more player gets injured, the game is called off. The ref is corrupt. Surely he'd just send someone off.
Well, you got to be somewhat, shouted about it a little bit. Well, you can't just be blatant,
I get that.
I do feel like he would have.
He gives Ironhead a yellow card for smoking. If you could get away with giving cards for that type of thing, you could definitely find another yellow card to trump up and get him. 2's yellow, he's off. Although I think Ironhead at that stage is already half dead.
Yeah. And all the people they had acquired had walked out at halftime because they were so battered and bruised. But yeah, I do think
that one guy's wife is in labor. Can't she just wait?
It's a championship game, babe. No, it was. I think if you were going to say that the refs corrupt, as soon as they didn't have the number of people, he wouldn't have wasted any time in calling it off. And like, no, sorry, you're too late. It's already called off. We can't wait around all day. It would have been over, But it did set up the third act of the woman in the movie to be an idiot. So it was all worth it.
An incredible turn of events, really. I've never seen that in a film before. A late unveiling. The twist is she's fucking dumb. That's amazing.
3 different characters in the movie. Shy, spotty-faced, Kung Fu Master Baker.
Yeah.
80s 80s hysterical woman.
Mm-hmm.
Also Kung Fu Master because she beats up the other woman. And then
Totally.
bald-headed idiot.
And she saves the day.
What else we have then? Unexpected banger award. I didn't have one for this either, Will.
The only one I have is like I said, I am Steel Leg and he is Ironhead song. I think that's the only, there's that song and there's the Steam Bun song. Apart from that, there's no music in this film. It's all score.
Yeah, it's all score. They spent all the money on special effects. They had no money for any Black Eyed Peas,
Yeah, although I was thinking, Black Eyed Peas will fucking pop off in this film.
Oh, it would send to the next level. Yeah, you're talking Oscars if Black Eyed Peas are in it. The super sub, is there any star you bring into this movie for any specific role, Will?
I don't know. I mean, everyone played their part so perfectly. Again, whether it's the makeup or what they did, all these guys are just hilariously loser-ish. I don't think you could put any Hollywood actors in this film. It just doesn't suit it. They're not everyone else just has too much charm. They're too rugged. You need a lovable bunch of losers like this. You just can't replace any of them, I think.
I had Tom Hanks as ref again.
Even, I will say, as good, and he's, like you said, he's probably one of the best people in the film. The evil coach, Coach Hung, I think if he was an evil American, that might be a nice little layer to the film.
Yeah, but an evil American, but speaking flawless Chinese.
Yeah, Will Ferrell, perhaps.
Yeah, but in not in a non-comical way. Nothing that's funny is about the way he speaks. You know, it's all about the actions. But like
John Cena, he'd be good. He could speak Mandarin.
There you go.
Yeah, John Cena as Coach Hung would be very good, I will say.
我现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋速度与激情就我最喜欢。
That's a good one. John Cena's Coach Hung speaking perfect Mandarin. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Yeah, I mean, I guess your rating of the movie, Will?
And I'm giving this one 8 out of 10. This is far and away my favorite. This was a joy to watch.
Yeah, I give it a 7.7, I think.
There you go. That's easily our highest.
Yeah, no, I'd watch that again, you know. That's
the
thing.
Same. I would show that to someone.
Yes.
Like after a night of drinking or something. It's like, have you ever seen Shaolin Soccer? You're in for a treat.
Yeah, you're in for a treat. Watch this. I hope you can read.
Yeah, then I'd seek out the dub. Good luck though, because we were saying before the pod started, this was the best film we've watched. Far and away the hardest film to find.
Yes.
It is not on anything in Ireland.
Yeah, I couldn't see it on anything. I think I saw it was on Apple TV if you have Apple TV.
Yeah,
but
I was worried about buying that without having Apple TV, and I just throw €4 away. I actively tried to give Amazon €4 to watch it, and they gave it back to me, which is insane. They said, no, you can't watch it in Ireland. But I was like, you could have taken the money. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, so that's always a good sign when you do a critique of a movie that no one's watched. But
you got to dig it out. You'll find it on some website you've never heard of. That's what I watched it on.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a 112 minutes or something like that, it's worth it. If you do nothing of a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, stick it on, and then listen to this show, or maybe do it in reverse. I don't know, but yeah. If you have any thoughts on the movie, let us know in the comments or email us in or DM us, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. After how fragile democracy is, Will, I'm not sure if we can trust the poll again.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I think maybe some of the bad actors, they've gotten what they wanted, you know? They've done it.
We don't know that, Will. We don't know that. Now they know they can get it. Now they might set their sights on something bigger or something worse, you know? So, look, we're going to pick the next movie. There's a few more out there. There's a few, obviously, the poll we had Escape to Victory, which you got one request for anyways, which tells me there's probably other people who might want to see that as well. The Goal one, it's sitting there, you know. It's one of the more classic ones, but I don't know. Will we get to it in time?
I don't know. I haven't heard one person say one word about Goal, but it is a soccer movie where he plays in the Premier League. And I'd assume there's a lot of footballers in it. I don't know.
I'm fairly sure Alan Shearer's in this. I'm fairly sure Alan Shearer's in this.
Yeah, he's playing for Newcastle, isn't he? He's definitely in
it. Yeah. I think there's a scene where he gets big dogged in the gym by Alan Shearer. I'm pretty sure.
This is the thing. I think, especially after watching Shaolin Soccer, we can't go to Goal next. Goal will be fierce boring.
Yeah. We have to go something a little less wacky than Shaolin Soccer, but a little bit more wacky than Goal. So that's our goal.
Machine, maybe.
There we go. Mean Machine. That was also on the list. I think Escape to Victory was winning before the flood of votes came from those who shall not be named.
Before we stopped the count.
Before we stopped the count. We should have stopped the count earlier, to be honest. But look, we've learned our lesson. Democracy's worse for it, but we've learned our lesson. Yeah, I think that's what does it, Will. I think the Club World Cup is heating up.
I actually saw my first Club World Cup game the other night.
Oh, yeah? How was it?
Yeah, I saw Real Madrid versus Dortmund. Real Madrid pissed through them, won quite easily. And a boy called Garcia had a great game and scored a goal who I've never seen in my life. And then upon some Googling, I think he's the top scorer in the Club World Cup. And apparently he has replaced Endrick in the pecking order as he is a Madrid academy player, which is not good for our boy Endrick.
I take it you didn't watch that game to the end.
No, I did not. Did they lose?
No, but Dortmund scored 2 90-plus minute
I know,
goals.
I didn't see 90 plus.
It was 2-0 until like 90+2, and then I think it ended 3-2. A classic Dortmund Real Madrid game where Dortmund never give up and they get these fucking mad goals. I think it went 2-1, and they went 3-1, they went 3-2, and Real Madrid were like, fuck off, fuck off. And then the game ended. But Dortmund are right there. They gave them a bit of a scare at the end, but
That's their whole thing, though. Ooh, we might win. You won't.
I think it was the Dortmund manager saying, we've overachieved in this competition. It's like, you can't keep doing that. You can't keep saying we overachieve. You always get to this stage.
Overachieved also. No, it's the Club World Cup, there's no rules. Anyone can win.
I think they've got as far as Bayern did in this competition, which is probably pretty annoying for them.
Yeah.
Because the money means nothing now. Like, if it's
That's true. I never thought of that, yeah.
they've probably made an extra 70 million off being there, but so have Bayern. So it's like, well, plus the money we already have, we're still ahead.
Because I did see, is it Auckland that had like the kind of semi-pro team?
Yeah.
And like they were just getting hockey to most games. I think they drew maybe 2 or 3 games. And because of that, they now have like more money than the club could have ever imagined in its wildest history. I think they got like $5 million.
Yeah.
And they're going to absolutely crush the Australian league now, I assume.
Yeah, the semi-professional league that they play, and I'm sure they will. It's like if a local business got €5 million in the lotto, it would be like, yeah, this is giving us a whole new lease of life. It might be bad for Leverkusen. I was just thinking they're the third German team who are like trying to make strides, who aren't in this, who are 70 million down, plus losing 2 of their best players in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Chelsea and Man City both. Well, Man City didn't go far, but they went far enough to make a lot of money, I'd say. And Chelsea are still in it. Chelsea are raking it in, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I mean, Man City and Chelsea have spent an unbelievable amount in this transfer window, and a lot of that is because of the Club World Cup money can offset the PSR. So, yeah, so we're watching the Club World Cup. We're all over the most exciting bits, the finances of it all. We're all over that. Yeah, I think we're at semi-final stage, aren't we? Or quarterfinals?
So. Oh, I think we're at semi-finals.
Semi-finals. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think there's some transfer news and stuff like that we can cover on the Ultra episode. That'll be happening later on this week. So stay tuned for that, Ultras. If you're not Ultra, sign up. It's all kind of football talk, really.
That's where the football is at the moment. We've kind of flipped it.
Yeah. Movies on a Monday and then football on a Thursday. Football on a Friday.
Football on Friday.
Movie Monday, football Friday. Easy to remember.
That's good.
So yeah, I don't know what movie we'll do next. I guess we'll should we just pick it now? Because that way
I think so.
let people know. Mean Machine or Escape to Victory then? Just for things we've seen. I think Mean Machine is a good mix, is it?
Mean Machine is, I think Mean Machine is not wildly different. It's like half Shaolin Soccer. And then I take Escape to Victory after. And then we're fully out of the wacky, silly football movie.
And then we'll do She's the Man.
And then we'll do She's the Man. Back to...
And then it'll be, Arsenal versus Man United or whatever, back to that.
Maybe Soccer Dog
weeks
in between, yeah.
If we do Mean Machine, Escape to Victory, and She's the Man, that's 3 more weeks from now. That'll bring us up to and Goal, that brings us to the 7th of August.
It's got to be around there. I mean, there's no way the Premier League are letting the Club World Cup take all the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be there eventually. Premier League.
I did see, I think some players at Chelsea, or maybe it's Bayern, have now been playing more than a year of football this season. Their pre-seasons started in early July last year, and they're still going.
Yeah, and if you played the Euros the summer before, you've had 3 weeks off in the last 2 years. I mean, it's insane. First game is Friday, 15th of August.
Perfect.
So, that we could fit what? Yeah, that'd be the last movie, I guess. We got four more movies. So if there is something you really want us to look at and review,
let us know.
I know people already have, and we may be ignoring them, but
we're seeing it.
We've seen them all, and we're making our choices. But let us know in whatever way you want. Until then, see the Ultras Friday and see everything else Monday. So
Football Friday, movie Monday. Good luck.
Shaolin Kung Fu's great.
Really great.
Shaolin Kung Fu's cool.
Oh, so cool.
I am known as Ironhead.
Mighty Iron Head.
Mighty steel leg.
Oh yeah, I'm still living.
Be serious.
Kung Fu's great. Oh yeah.
It's so great.
Kung Fu is my thing.
Eat mighty steel.